The math is actually the entitlements by the baby boomers.
Okay.
So the amount of healthcare costs, all that, is so much that it's going to detrimentally affect our economy heading into that 2030 to 32. It's going to take all the way from that time to 36 to come out of it when the baby boomers are dead.
Okay.
I sat through a crazy economic presentation with 1,000 people in a room, and the guy presenting it, I think it's ITR Economics. He's like, yeah, we're 95.8% right over the last 100 years.
Impressive.
It's like what our prediction is. And I'm like if someone told me they had a 95.8% success rate, I'm hiring them and I'm listening to them.
Young Junk.
All right. So today on the New How podcast, we have Roman Ovrutsky. I got to get the Russian right. I will get it right. Ovrutsky. He's a Philadelphia-based real estate developer, builder, and licensed agent, best known as the founder and CEO of Omega Home Builders, which he launched back in 2013 after starting his career in finance as a mutual fund analyst at BNY Mellon. Over the last decade, Roman and his teams have delivered a steady stream of ground-up projects across the city, from townhome communities like Marston Walk near Strawberry Mansion in Brewerytown to Perkiomen Courts in the Fairmount-Francisville area and the mixed-use Ridge Point building on Ridge Ave. More recently, his name, is connected to one of the larger projects moving through Philadelphia's development pipeline right now on 2001 East Lehigh Ave, a planned 6-story mixed-use building that recently reporting described as 146 units with below-grade parking. Roman also operates at the street-level real estate, holding a PA license in real estate, working through brokerage platforms to show active listings and sales. In conversation, he brings a practical builder's view of what it takes to deliver housing in Philadelphia at the highest level, sourcing, design decisions, community feedback, and all the realities of construction. Roman, pleasure to have you on the show today. Appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you having me.
Roman, you are fresh up in Philly this week. You're here working on projects. Tell me what's going on in your life and give me a little sense of what this week looks like for you and what you're doing here in Philly.
Okay, so this week is basically just going through filling in the plugs that are required in the day-to-day operations of the business, because we do it a little bit differently where we're fully vertically integrated. We aren't only the builder and the developer, we're also running the property management. So
and you also, I know you own a kitchen business too, right? You put in the kitchens in your
so
properties.
I'm blessed to have a really strong active partner there. I'm basically a silent partner. So Omega Kitchens and Decor. If anyone needs kitchens, floorings, any kind of design.
I feel like a lot of people may use your kitchens and not even realize it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So she supplies to many, many builders and developers. Great pricing. Again, same motto, work really hard. You cut out a lot of costs and then you're able to provide a better product. That's the same way basically my development business works. We're a very, very lean team. We have a lot of subs, but we have a very small staff just because it helps us get the feedback loop faster so that we can address issues.
So you have literally a vertically integrated team that's sourcing materials, building the construction, developing property management, right? Because you have active rentals, right? So you're literally vertically integrated at every percentage point almost of the process. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing. I gotta know a little bit, all right? Because I feel like almost everyone I've had on this show had some sort of prior life, like, hey, I did this job or I was that, but you were in finance previously. Talk a little bit about that and maybe what you were doing and how you got transitioned into real estate.
There's obviously a few holes in that bio, but so I finished Temple with a finance degree because I wanted to go into high-level finance. But I never gotten, I guess, the correct internships or the right direction to do it. And the market, it was 08, 09, so it was very weak. So I got into not necessarily you can make it sound better. It's like anyone interviewing, they make it sound better, but it wasn't like a job that was leading anywhere. So I was doing it, trying to get into the fields that I wanted. Kept knocking on doors, studied for my GMATs. At one point, I transitioned back to take my pre-med classes while I was still working full time.
Pre-med? You thought
I was
trying everything.
I was going to be a plastic surgeon. I had a 4.0. I took my AMCATs without even I squeezed in a year worth of. I squeezed in the whole pre-med in less than a year.
Jesus.
I was about to go. Thankfully, my mom's ex-boyfriend at the time, he had his business was struggling a little bit, and he. And I was always a saver. I saved every dollar. At that time I was working 100-hour weeks because I would work over 40 hours plus do the gym plus study for school.
Amazing.
So it really, that time period really brought out the toughness in me and knowing that I can just through not even necessarily smarts, but through just hard work and sheer dedication that I can overcome problems that might seem larger than life at the moment. But as time progresses and you take it a little by little, you can.
What was that day for you where the shift, like you saw, like, what's this thing, real estate, right? Like, what was that day? Do you remember? Can you look back to that day and be like, well, real estate, what is this thing?
Well, so basically he came and, because we were looking to get into another business, and I was like, I had some savings. We were going to like partner up, and we're looking at SalarWorks and like FedEx, which that was just, those people working those FedEx routes, dude, they need a medal. That's not an easy job. And we were like going through one thing to the next, and a lot of his friends were doing sheriff sales.
Okay, like buying properties.
And he's like, well, let's try to get into it. So that kind of opened up, and me just trying, like at that moment, and this is what I remember to this day, he was telling me that like, I'm smart, I'm extremely hardworking. What are you doing going to med school? Like you gotta get into the right business, and then you're just gonna plow it through. So thankfully, it was real estate.
Yep.
And I remember he mentioned it. I looked into the Montgomery Sheriff Cell.
Okay. So you started outside of Philly.
Yeah. Philly. Philly was always. I didn't even think of Philly. It was Montgomery Sheriff Cell. I bought our first property. He, through other contacts, provided.
What was the first property you bought? What was the size of it? What was it?
It was like a single home, in I want to say Gilbertsville, for like $120,000.
Oh yeah, single family, one house,
single family. Yeah, I think it was 120. He had a few of his friends basically advise or recommend a few contractors. So like he would send them to me, then I would hire them, then I would supervise and help them work as they're doing it. So I was basically hands-on the entire time, managing the materials, because when it's your money involved, you can, and like especially if you want to cut costs, you see the difference between you managing material compared to an employee where you buy them,
or a sub,
or a sub. It's night and day difference.
Buying extra tile always.
So as it started working, I noticed that they work hard, but they just don't manage their time effectively whatsoever. So, and we hired a real estate agent to do to list the house, which I realized she did mediocre job at best. So as we're finishing that, I'm like, well, let me get my license. Let me talk to these people, and then I'm gonna, instead of having them agree and squeeze the margin on the sub, I'm just gonna have them work for me, and I'll pay them like a different rate,
base salary, kind of like a consistent. They don't have to.
So that house we made like I think $60K on. Then we did a second house in Bucks County Sheriff Cell. That went well. Then the third house. Then it basically kind of snowballed where I got into Philly, the Philly Sheriff Cell, which is a lot different. And I got my first experience of having someone in the unit. Yeah, and that was so
like you bought the property with somebody inside of it.
With someone inside of it, and I was under the impression that we're splitting it 50-50 because like I'm doing all the work and we're figuring it out, and then my, I guess, investor kind of bailed, and that was like my my moment of like, wait a second, if I'm taking the risk and then you can still walk out, let me just do it myself.
Correct.
So then I end up like start doing projects myself. Then I throw him with me on other projects. Then I end up getting another investor as things started snowballing. And the only difference is, which allowed me to scale as fast as I did, was I lived at home. I would
like saving money, like
I would
no car, no. Like, did you have like?
I mean, I had a car.
What was the first car you had? Everyone remembers it.
The first car I had actually was my mom's car. That was a Jeep. I mean, like at that time, because I mean, I was working finance and stuff like that. I didn't have anything nice. I think I had a Hyundai Sonata or something like that. Like,
everyone's got a first car they start with.
I mean, it was. The point is, I was more focused on, because at that time I was also single. I was more focused on stacking my equity so that I can do more projects than going out and showing off so that I can get a little bit more of attention. And that obviously helped me do more projects. And then the more you do, and all of a sudden your wheel starts spinning, because in real estate, and that's people especially ones that start off, it sounds all great, but then I realize that in order for it to really fully go, you need to have enough momentum in the pipeline for it to move. Because you can make 60K on a house or 100K on a house, maybe 200, whatever, depending on the deals. But if that project is 6 months or 9 months and you're using that money to live off, well, by the time you finish, you're back at square one.
And you're hoping you don't know when your next meal's coming because you don't know when it's going to sell. Could be a week, could be a year.
And there's never guarantee that you actually will make money. I mean, you can minimize the risk if you do it yourself because you end up cutting a lot of the cost out. Obviously, if you're great and you're like, I'm sure a lot of people much smarter than I that figured out how to put great teams around where they just invest and make a return. So far, I haven't really met that many that do it as a successful level as I, because I feel like
the vertical integration is unique. I feel at your level, right? Usually, some people are designer builder, but like the fact that you can find the deals, broker them. Take them all the way through as many.
We go directly to lender. Like we squeeze the margin everywhere we can. I'm sure you.
Of course, it's impressive and it's admirable because I think long term, right? No matter what happens in the economy, you're going to be able to like give and take from somewhere to
absolutely
like, hey, let's do cabinets at cost. Like I know the price I'm getting them. I don't need to upcharge that. I'm not. You're able to save and all sorts of
absolutely. Well, the idea is when things hit the fan, which eventually it always happens. Like obviously in real estate, we've been blessed because like a lot of people are like, oh wow, like this is impressive and like you're so smart or whatever. But we haven't really went through a downturn since 2009. Like
we haven't gone through a 09 downturn.
A sustainable one. COVID was like a blimp of like 2-3 months where people got nervous and then it went right back up and just shut up. So like there hasn't really been anything economically substantial to impact all asset classes all the way down where it doesn't really.
What's your opinion? You finance, I'm sure you keep an eye on it. You got a lot of money on the street. What's your opinion on when we're going to see that downturn, right? If you had a crystal ball, what's your opinion on that? Just curious.
To be honest, I have no idea. Like,
I'll tell you mine. So I believe the next downturn, major downturn, barring any World War IIIs and IVs upcoming, I think it's going to be in the 2030, 31 realm. And it's actually math. It has nothing to do with, outside. It has nothing to do with so the math is actually the entitlements by the baby boomers.
Okay.
So the amount of healthcare costs, all that, is so much that it's going to detrimentally affect our economy heading into that 2030 to 32. It's going to take all the way from that time to 36 to come out of it when the baby boomers are dead.
Okay.
I sat through a crazy economic presentation with 1,000 people in a room, and the guy presenting it, I think it's ITR Economics. He's like, we're 95.8% right over the last 100 years. It's like what our prediction is. And I'm like if someone told me they had a 95.8% success rate, I'm hiring them and I'm listening to them.
Okay.
Right? They predict that we are actually over the next 5 years here about to have such a economic boom that it's not going to be whether or not you can do the work or get the opportunities. It's going to be whether or not you can keep up.
Okay.
And he believes that.
Why is there an economic boom?
What's that?
Why is he thinking there's going to be an economic
tax cuts, things like that? Some of the depreciation you're seeing, some of the real estate assets, bringing stuff back to the U.S., just some of the economic policies.
Okay.
And look, they're a middle ground, right? They look at politics just on raw mathematics and economics.
It sounds like much more.
Yeah, it's right. So it's not like they're swaying it because of who's in the White House. It all has to do with math, and they show all their graphs and how they get to these determinations. But they say we have essentially a 5-year runway of just pure upside. That's then going to be dealt with some sort of economic substantial thing relating to the entitlements for the baby boomers and their skyrocketing healthcare costs. So what you're seeing and what's going on, out there, our number one priority as a nation is actually to figure out healthcare before anything else.
Yeah.
And the costs associated with that.
Oh, absolutely.
And if we don't figure that out, we're about to have a very, very eye-opening event in the 2031 to 32 era. And that's what they predict. Yeah. And I was blown away by it. But forget all that. That's 6 years, 7 years from today. Who cares?
Well, right? Government spending is obviously a big factor.
I'm curious with you, right? Because I've known you a long time, Roman. And I have a lot of clients in the real estate space that we work with. You, out of most, have over the last 12 to 24 months have continued to go.
Yeah.
Like, what are you seeing that others aren't? Like, give me some insight as to like your prediction on like at least the Philadelphia market space here and what's happening in real estate.
I mean, I would love to say that I sat in a room with 1,000 economists and like I predicted that over the next 5 years things are just going to keep booming and booming and booming. I mean, obviously having lower interest rates is going to help in an environment to go through while everyone else is stepping out because of increasing costs. But there are so many people building and there's so much competition. So I definitely feel like and what I see thus far, it's only getting tougher, and it's going to get to a point where the strongest survive.
Yeah.
And the only reason
the most creative, I feel like, too.
The most creative, and the only reason why we're pushing. I mean, I think like we have almost like 500 units in the pipeline right now that we're building over the next 4 years, or 3, whatever. But the reason why we have the conviction to continue, aside from obviously strong cash flow and financing and things were going in the right direction for us, is the fact that we are a very, very small shop compared to everyone. Like most people that do what we're doing, they have like 100 people teams.
Correct. We
have me and Eric
and
a few people from overseas and a bunch of subs. So it's like people just are mind blown as how our overhead is like.
Yeah, you're keeping the cost per square foot down, right? That's what it is.
It's non-existent, and because where our feedback loop is us, right? So like we can make the decision right away. So like what takes someone 3-4 weeks to find out, like, oh, this isn't working, we'll give you that answer the same day, if not next. So what we're hoping, or at least that's what we're thinking, as long as the finances and the cash flow and the opportunities come to us that make sense and we can sustain ourselves and know that we can withstand a little bit of a turn, we keep pushing forward because we know that even if things go down, we can withstand it because everyone else would be out before us.
Yep. And what's interesting, I want to touch on to the linked brand you have, right, between all the different stuff. Like you're able to not only you're saving costs, but you're speeding things up drastically, right? 100%. Like your cabinets aren't, you're not waiting 8 weeks to get it. Like you're getting like as soon as you can, right? Because your supply chains, you're controlling the construction. If you're not having to go to another job that you're not hiring a GC to maybe do another job that day, right?
So we have our people, but to be fair, I'm blessed to have a very strong partner. Actually, Eric. He started working for me, and that's something that anytime, because we're always looking for people, and the first thing I tell them, just like, show your skill, work your ass off. I will promote you. I'll make you a partner. I'll give you equity because at the end of the day, you're as strong as your team. Most people want to get there real quick, and they want to, hey, I'll do something for a week. What can you do for me now? Or they'll just do what they think is okay, but when you come from my mentality is same thing, Eric, where we just hustle and grind the whole day.
You're pretty much in alignment.
Yeah. So I was blessed that I was good at negotiating with people and getting the projects done, but he's actually coming from a jewelry business where he would barter and negotiate and figure out a way to squeeze out every single penny without breaking the contractor or the supplier. So we've been managing to get really, really substantially beneficial deals for us. And he's been more head of the operations, while now I'm more head of development, where I'm finding the deals, I'm financing the deals.
Doing what you do best.
I'm figuring out the cash flow. I deal with the property management to make sure that we lease out all the units. We have a few for sale projects now that we just, honestly, we've just been building so many apartments. We just wanted to do for sale, and we're thinking, hey, rates are going to drop, so we got a few for sale that we're going to
for sale over the last, I would say, 6 months has come back. I've seen it. It's nice to see single family homes again.
Yeah,
and I'm talking not just a one-off rich person that can you're building a dream home. That never stops. I'm talking hey, there's 12 homes, there's 16 homes, there's 20 homes, all coming back, and I hadn't seen that in years.
And definitely, definitely towards the end of this year, I think with the rates being projected to continue dropping, that's going to help.
And I still think the inventory for certain price point homes is
especially in Philly,
high demand. There's shit selling pre-construction still in Philly.
So, especially Philly, because Philly just kind of the suburbs. Well, suburbs were always the demand, but that was also their problem. It's they're so unwilling to do anything. No one actually develops.
Suburbs double the entitlement time in your underwriting for sure.
I'm going through those headaches, but Philly has shifted heavily, probably too heavily, into apartments and not any of the single homes. So that definitely now seeing that shift back is welcoming.
I'm just curious. So, you made you started your first house, single family home. Like I did the same thing. I did a single family flip. That was my first development deal. And you like remember almost every step of that project, everything that went right, everything that went wrong. It's crazy to think back, but now you're doing 100+ unit projects.
Yeah.
What's the mindset it takes to do that? Like thinking back to when you did that single family home, be like, hey, I'm doing 100+ units. Like, what's different? What do you have to be prepared for? Like a listener that's maybe doing a 10, 20 unit building, like what's that stepping stone mentally and also like execution wise that you have to make sure you're dealing with?
To dive into something that you've never done before, I would say you need to have, I don't want to say the word sheer stupidity, kind of, but you do want to have a little bit of the balls and confidence to know that you're able to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because in the day, unfortunately, at least in my life, no one's been there to hold my hand and be like, hey, here are the stepping stones to do it correctly. Everyone's going to give you advice how to do things their way, but most of the people that give you that advice don't actually know how to do it the correct
and haven't done what you're trying to do.
Or exactly. Or they do it in a completely different way, or they have a completely different bank account and experiences. So what works for them might not work for you. So the mindset for me to diving it in is like, I never knew how to do flips, but then I tried and figured it out. I didn't know how to do new construction townhomes. My first new construction was in Philly 10 to 11 years ago to Jasper Street. Thankfully, building's still standing.
You did something right.
It's still standing, beautiful and strong, but figured it out. And then I think I got into apartment buildings 2018 or 2019 with Ridge and Walnut. Well, one was a industrial retrofit, and the other one was in a new construction. I had no idea how to get into it, but just figured gotta figure it out. And one thing that I kind of learned through that process is that it's doing that and a bigger build. Like we didn't see much of a difference. Obviously, there are differences. There's bigger scales.
It's usually different extra zeros after the cost.
Yeah, and different scales, and there's a little bit more scrutiny for certain things, but it kind of is like the same thing. So
same process.
It's the same process. So all we've been doing is just with every year that goes by, we just add a little bit more units to the build, or an extra story, or an extra. An extra aspect of unknown. We don't go from, hey, I build a townhome, let me do a 240 unit building tomorrow,
or a master plan mall renovation.
Exactly. A lot of times people ask me, hey, can you do a commercial build for me or this? And then we're like, that's not our area. Or going to a different area, that's not our area. We try to stay in the area that we kind of know and just increase it a little bit by size. And then that way we know that, like, hey, whatever we don't know, we'll figure it out.
What so obviously, in Philly, we have a unique process here where, if you're trying to do something that maybe isn't by right, there's a whole community engagement aspect. You got to meet with the community, multiple times sometimes, but also, then you got to take it to the city. They got to listen to what the community said, and there's voting to move through. Can you talk about maybe some of the projects that you've worked through with the community groups, and like maybe some advice to those that are looking to do that for the first time? Because I get phone calls every day, like, hey, I want to do, I can do a single family, but I want to do a triplex here. I want to do, I can do 10 units, but we need to do 16 to make the deal work. Like,
absolutely.
Talk to me about some,
So
just
again, it has to, like, the person has to kind of analyze themselves and who they are, right? So like if you don't have the confidence and like you're not gonna figure out and just like knock on the doors that you have to knock, hire a lawyer. Obviously vet, try to make sure it's a good lawyer. But from personal experience, I feel like no one ever is gonna do as good a job as you. So like we hired lawyers to go through things. We've done it ourselves as well, or we've done it myself. I'd ask, like, one thing is, in any business, best advice I can give you is just like, don't be afraid to look stupid. you know, and ask a question that you might not know the answer to, and like, okay, so what? That person's going to think you're stupid. How you didn't know how the zoning works, or you didn't know that the steel has to be bolted with an Y shape or whatever. So what? Like, people don't care. But like, asking those questions is going to help you to get some knowledge so that you're able to assess what you need for next time. So as you go, maybe the first time when you do zoning and you do it with a lawyer and you stay involved, but then you realize it's actually a very simple process. And then if you're willing to talk to the people and be polite and nice, obviously some of these meetings are insane. Like I remember we had a 54th Street. It was like 3 small lots, 12 units each. There's no space for a basketball court, but when you go to the RCO, they're like, we want a basketball court there. And we're just sitting there and listening. I'm like, okay, like, sure. But
we'll put some hoops on the street, do it old school style.
Yeah. Like like there's going to be oppositions, and there's going to say nonsense, and they're going to look at you and they're going to stereotype and judge and insult or whatever. But then there's also people where you can figure out common ground, and once you figure out who it is, you can come to a mutual beneficial agreements where, like, hey, we're developing lower income housing, or we're developing housing for seniors, or your block is dilapidated and you have junkies shooting up next door. Do you really want that? We're going to put brand new homes for like well, if it's in a poor neighborhood, then it's like for middle-class people with cameras so that you feel more security. Like, what do you want? Oh, you need $10,000 for your RCO so you can help with a school fundraiser. You come and you figure this out. And those are things that typically a lawyer could do as well. But unfortunately,
it goes faster if they know the face behind it.
Well, not even the phase behind it. Like, lawyers, they have their own schedule, and they have their own priorities. If that project is their main priority, they'll get it done faster. But if they have a life at home or like a different project, and this is just like, hey, it's billable hours.
I remember one of my first entitlements. I was on the border of Kensington, like before Kensington was anything, and I bought a lot that one of my clients had won in like a poker game. Like, it was crazy back in like the 70s. And I bought it off him for like whatever. He made good money. And then I entitled it for 3 houses ground up. And you get through it, and like, first meeting the RCO, like, you know, what is this? You know, you're bringing houses here. And then what I ended up doing was figuring out like that a lot of the neighbors there just wanted like trash cleaned up. They're like, the city's not cleaning up trash on these empty lots. Like, there's nothing, it's blowing, it's collecting, people drop, like, and all they cared, it was like, I want trash cleaned up. So I ended up meeting the block captain of this area, and I was like, hey, I would love to donate money to you guys to like help, you know, support cleaning up the streets. And we gave money to like the RCO there to like do like, hey, go, here's money that you can pay people to clean up your area.
Show up to those events and you could do cleanup.
It was awesome. And it was like, also like, I didn't expect that. You know, whatever, it costs couple $1,000 or whatever to give, you know, so they can buy trash back. Like, it's crazy to think, but some of these areas you go to, they don't even have resources to improve their neighborhoods. So like, developers can always do the right thing in a way. Like, or I could have said, I'm going to make an extra $2,000, but in reality, the good of that.
I mean, if you're hiring a lawyer, the lawyer is going to cost you way more than the $2,000. That's the easiest and fastest solution. But that's why you kind of want to be involved in it, because a lot of times you don't realize that, hey, you have 2-3 people there that are just sabotaging the meeting, and you have these people that you can negotiate and figure out, and you might not be able to do it the first time around or the second time around, but you're going to be able to, because you're more involved, to figure out who you can speak to push it. Because a lot of times it's not even just the RCO, it's also the other organizations or the councilmen, where like it's nearly impossible to get through to them, or they get through to them, but again, you're not a priority.
Correct.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people that work in the city, they understand people forget to respond to emails all the time or do their job. So being involved more, you realize, like, wait a second, like, if I have to keep pushing this on a little bit further, whereas if you let someone else do it, they'll send the email to get it done, and then you wait another month until it gets responded to.
They're like, I should check my email from last month.
That again, in real estate and any business, the most important part is speed.
What's your favorite part of the process? Curious. You feel like you've done everything, right? Like, like, what's been your favorite part of the whole process, from literally the moment you see a deal, like potentially buying it or looking at buying it, all the way to like you got keys, you're handing it off to tenants? What's been like, or buyers?
So there's multiple favorite parts, right? Because each part brings its own excitement.
And you can't say your favorite parts when you get the check or whatever. No, you can't say that. What's your other favorite? What's your other favorite?
Well, it's not the check, but like, I mean, completion and actually seeing it work where you're starting to stabilize is obviously one of the best feelings. Getting a good deal and closing on a good deal is a great feeling. Getting permits so you can start, it's always a good feeling.
Yeah. How about like when the elevator goes to all the floors? Like I feel like for me that would be a lot of fun to see.
Well, we actually do have a project where the elevator got delayed for a few months, so like that now might be a good feeling to see. We're basically almost fully like we're pushing through to lease it out, and we still don't have an elevator. So definitely it's going to be one of those parts where it's going to be a good feeling. But that's, I guess the point is every project is a little different, you know? So like I can't just say it's one feeling, but definitely finding the deal, I feel like it's more of, if I think about it, it's not even necessarily, it's knowing that I got the better end of it is my best feeling. Is knowing that like I did something to progress the business forward. Like I got it at a good price, or I got good construction terms, or like I think for Univest I have like the best construction rate deal out of anyone.
Don't say that too loud. People listen and be like, I gotta go back. I want Roman's deal, Univest.
No, well, they can't. They lost money on that one. So like those kind of things where like I know, but that's how I also negotiate. Because I'm the least. I have heavy cash flow. I have good assets. I have one of the most impeccable performances. We never hit interest reserves. Like we're always plus on interest reserves. We always build the building before we even ask for the draw, because we always try to use all our cash flow first before we pull a draw.
Correct.
And that way it helps with the interest reserves. And like because we're hands-on, our delays aren't as bad.
And banks also look at you because you're building it, developing it, you're fully integrated.
Absolutely.
It gives you an advantage.
And then because we're doing it hands-on, so brokers are amazing, and like they'll get you great deals, and they'll get you deals that like, let's say myself, I won't be able to get a few times around. But one of the things that you notice is like once it gets you a great deal, the next time around, they're not shopping for the best deal. They're just shopping to just get you in. Whereas you're going to be like, hey, now you have all the lenders. This is what I got from this lender. Can you give me a little bit more? Can you give me a little bit more until you get the best deal? And then you obviously advertise, look at my performance, never hit interest reserves, cash flows are great. You know, this is the one deal you'll never have to worry about servicing us or like figuring out how, like, easy. Yes, you're not getting paid as much, but hopefully the idea is in my head is that I'm providing them a better night's sleep with less work and
less risk. The risk, it's all about risk in banking, right?
And also work. A lot of times I don't think necessarily when they put them together they even care as much about the risk. They care more about the amount of workload they're putting through. It varies because they have their metrics and bonuses and it gets tricky.
So, talk to me a little bit about, because I know there's people that listen to the show that are in the renovation space, dabbling, maybe, hey, I want new construction is something that seems like light years away for them. Talk about maybe some of the misconceptions between them, because like you and me, like we both did renovations and we both would choose new construction every time if we could. But like,
well, not necessarily. So like when I did flips, you can turn them around for 3 to 6 months. So you do a much quicker timetable. New construction, especially nowadays, unless you're buying it with permits, you can possibly shovel ready, push it through 9 months if you have
9 months to completion. Plus
with the sale. You can push it 9 months. Sometimes you can do a little bit faster, but a lot of times it takes closer to a year. And then obviously if you don't have the permits, that can drag out another year. So your time horizons are.
So it's the time. So timeline's one of them. So you can be out of a house in 3 to 6 months.
I rehab 3 to 6 months, and you can get. You might not. Hey, you might only make 40K compared to 60K. But if you're doing it in 6 months and you're doing this in a year and a half, well, guess what? For the 40K,
rather do the flip.
It's all about, which I tell the realists, because everyone. So I live in Boca full time. And I travel here for work, and everyone always said, "Oh, wow, like, are you doing anything in Boca? Yeah, are you doing anything in Boca?" Because like I import things from overseas at my house. Like I have the ability, I think, to deliver a great product. But what I tell them is like I don't have the connections, right, to get the deal, and or the contractors to do it at a reliable price, good enough.
That's a competitive market down there.
It's super competitive, and so there's a lot of dumb money that everyone's trying to get in and just push the price up and see how it works. And some people are magnificent, are able to do it. I don't have that structure yet, nor do I have the ability, because I'm full steam here, to figure it out because I'm going to have to slow down here to figure it out there. So I tell them like, hey, I don't have the deal.
Yeah.
I don't have the personnel, so I stay out of it. Now, if the opportunity comes, and that's what the point of the flip or the new construction, if the opportunity comes where it makes sense and you're like, you know what, this is a great deal.
Yep.
Just jump on it. Because that's in the end of the day, it's like you make money when you sell, but you also make money when you buy.
When you're looking at new construction deals, what are like the three most, or one, maybe what's the most important part of it that you're caring about above all the other factors that go into that deal? Like, what's the number one thing? Obviously, net profit aside, but like when you're analyzing that deal, what's like the number one thing you're looking at in relation? Like, is it size of it? Is it price per square?
So,
like,
the mentality is always trying to get it as good, if not better, than the last deal that I had.
okay,
That's basically how I always.
it's a way to look at it. That's different.
I always try to buy. Basically, every deal we've been buying is slightly cheaper than the previous deal because costs went up, certain things went up, so we try to do it. Sometimes we buy for a little bit. I mean,
You do that on a square footage basis. You're like, hey, I'm acquiring 10,000 square feet at 80 a square.
unit
doing it
basis or
per unit. Okay.
yeah, for the for sale. Then
Well, that's one way to drive your P&L correctly, right? I'm going to make my upfront costs less every time.
Yeah.
Price per square unit, price per
because the construction costs are only going up.
I don't think most people, I don't try to do it that way. Like, that's crazy. Like, that, I love that mindset of like, hey, I'm actually just going to look at my prior deal and I paid this per square foot or paid this per unit. I'm just going to beat it.
Well, that's
like a challenge.
I mean, 100%. It's a challenge, but it works because especially now, like people don't realize construction costs are only going up, and it's
Correct.
only going to continue to go up because codes are constantly involved.
Oh my God, every fucking week there's something new.
Just to add certain things, and then there's new timelines, and now all of a sudden it takes you 3 months to close out a building compared to before we could have done it in a week. So it, like all those things add on, and therefore, when rates really start dropping, there's certain deals are going to.
You think rates are dropping? Are you confident that you think they're going to go further past what we're at, like 6.1 right now in environment?
So I didn't think so for the last few months, but then I met with someone that's been managing a lot of money for like higher end, and he was saying that.
Like, how far down can we go from this?
I mean, I don't think.
Like 500 basis points. Like, where are we? Like,
yeah, I think. I mean, they were saying that they're expecting 3 cuts this year because like if they replace a Fed chair, like
we got all this import money. We got a lot of money sitting around too.
Yeah, Trump is going to. I mean, this was their notion, which kind of made sense. Is that one, Trump is obviously going to push them to lower rates so they can get things more competitive. I don't necessarily think that's going to help get houses cheaper because
it's not
going to cost. It helps,
if anything,
helps people build more.
If anything, they're going to stay at the same price or go up. Housing is not going to.
I don't think it necessarily go up because people's incomes aren't going up, but
that's true.
But it's definitely going to help more people get into their deals or whatnot. But lowering the rate, making money a little bit cheaper. I mean, what he was saying is the idea is because we're never going to be able to spend down our debts, but his whole thought process that we're just going to inflate through it. So,
well, what's interesting, I had posted something a long time on X, and I said, it was like right when this housing problem was happening, I said, why the fuck do we not have 50-year mortgages?
Yeah.
Right? Like right now, you take your mortgage, price your house, divide it by 30, add the interest, that's your payment. Like, why do we not just do 50 years? Like, what would that change about the market? Wouldn't that just help people?
Oh yeah,
like, I guess inflate out of our environment in a way, but still, like
technically, if you see I think the difference is not even that big because it's like you're only making the prices like $200 cheaper because you're basically going almost.
But still, $200 a month for people making $70,000-$80,000 a year is big money.
No, 100%.
And that's the market that are trying to buy homes and can't afford them. Right?
Well, that's also the problem. Like for me, it's just so difficult to see how people making $70,000-$80,000 a month survive in this economy.
Yep,
it's definitely not easy. But
they're renting.
Well, yeah, everyone's renting. It's obviously they need to figure out ways to lower costs. It's just unfortunately the people in the government they don't realize like by adding all these additional rules and codes and studies, they're only increasing the cost. It should go the opposite way.
I want to chat on. I want to get your opinion on AI because all the recent guests with all the crazy stuff happening. AI, but I saw something recently by Mr. Wonderful, right? Kevin O'Leary. Everyone's talking, right? He's just great because I love how he's middle ground. He'll call the left crazy, he'll call the right crazy. Like he's just middle ground business guy. Like wants to just do good business at every country of the world.
Well, he's smart, yeah.
And he was talking about these AI data centers, right? And he was talking about literally down to like the zoning. For one, grid aside, how outdated our grid is, like you can't get these approvals. Whereas like you go to China, they're just like, we're going to build one here and it starts construction next week.
Yeah.
So like for one, we're going to be very behind.
Oh yeah, or Dubai, like
there's no like
speed.
You don't need to talk to Jeremy about whether or not what his view is going to be, and whether or not you believe that's right.
That's a problem with our bigger government institutions. Once the governments get too big, you have to justify so many jobs, and they try to put in all these rules where it's like you don't really like who's doing those jobs. Like some of them are great people. A lot of them are just doing a job where like they're just justifying their time.
Well, there's no accountability. That's the and they have rules against you can't sue because they don't have any jurisdiction.
I have that in one of the townships right now. I'm basically getting billed for things that they're billing me to respond with an answer okay to an email. $80 bill. They have yet to do any actual work.
And you're paying it?
I have to. Otherwise the rule is like you stop paying. They stop their work and they start back from square one.
I'm sending you a bill for an okay email. I know. I'll charge you 60 an email though. That's great.
That was a bad idea.
That's amazing. It's just.
But yeah, that's the biggest problem with our country. I think is that like people just don't realize like so many people. I mean, again, a lot of people are not in good position in life. I mean, some are because of most are because of their choices. They don't realize you have to pull yourself up yourself. The government's never going to.
Yeah, the government's not going to help you.
The government's never going to help you. All they're going to do is buy your vote so that they can enrich themselves, because that's how it's been done through the history of life always.
Yep.
Most people are just not educated enough for that. But
I like the challenge of zigging and zagging around it all. It doesn't matter to me who's in the White House. I love the game. I love the game. It works left and right.
It works either way if you're willing to work. It's just a lot of people don't realize that, and then they keep voting for larger governments, thinking that they're going to accommodate and save them. In actuality, it's the complete opposite. It
hurts.
It just makes it slower.
You know what hurts is when my clients need to pay an extra $1,000 for a rodent infestation plan to know how we're going to manage the rodents on a lot in Philadelphia. Like, to me, that's crazy.
100%.
It's absurd. How about we manage the needles sitting out in front of the lot first, versus worrying about whether there's going to be mice on the lot? There, like it's crazy.
Or there's studies where it's like, hey, we're gonna redo all the parks so we can make the parks a little bit prettier. So we'll spend $24 million on the study to then think about it to then later, we don't have the funds for it, so we just.
I got it. There's a private firm here that'll do it for under $1 million, I'm sure. Right? Like it's crazy, and that's the scary part.
It's people just draining the government, and then the government is slowing it down. And life is all about innovation. Whoever innovates the fastest.
Let's get into innovation a little bit, because I'm curious as we get towards the end of the episode here. I want to know about your thoughts on what's happening with AI. We talked about the data centers a little bit that are powering these things, but like you're in the real estate space. How do you think AI is going to play a part of this, or maybe is currently playing a part for you, what you're using it for? But like, can you predict in your eyes as a visionary, like where it's heading and what it's going to
So as I'm reaching my 40 and realizing that I'm freaking...
You're getting old, man.
I'm getting old. And I'm not staying up with the technology. AI is one of those, like... It's a tool that we all, for the most part, use for like basic things. And like there's a lot of advantages. Hey, doing a quick procedure, contract, rewrite an email, image. I use it for 3D renderings. Instead of waiting for you to send me one, I'll just send it down to edit it real quick, just for like to give an idea. I've tried. Obviously, I know AI has vastly improved over the past year, but the past year I was trying to implement it with my property management software to be like, well, maybe that can do it. The problem that I experienced then, and I'm sure it's still prevalent now, is the fog of AI and its inability to do certain tasks. Where I feel like people that are professional in that and they have the time to focus and hone it, they're gonna kill it with it, because it does speed up the process so well for lawyers, for architects, for anything and everything. You can I just met a guy who just told me he built out the entire website using pure AI. And
I did that too. BrianCorkadills.com, AI built website.
I wanted to actually, I think that was 6 months ago, I got into that idea. I spent like 6-7 hours trying to build my website. You can redo my property management, because I'm like a fuck up folio and books. I want to have one all together with just the because I only use the basic needs for it. Again, vertically integrated, very simple. We don't need all this extra details. We just need the things that work for us.
You need a link to your portal.
I'm spending 6-7 hours to do it, just to basically figure out that like because I don't know the language and know the processes. Like I'm building this database and this, so that once the next step comes in, I have to restart it all over again. And it was being built a little bit more rudimentary, so I gave up on it. But then speaking to him, saying that like, oh, well now it's a lot more advanced, and then like, how to do it.
The scary part about AI that people aren't realizing is the public perception. Like you're saying, like I think it was cloudy 12 months ago. Shit, it was cloudy 6 months ago. The public perception and what it's actually doing is growing at such a rapid pace. People are going to be blindsided if they're not trying to at least poke their head in the trench once or twice a week right now. Like there's this whole thing came out like last week, OpenClaw, and it's like, oh my God, people are putting this thing on, Mac Minis. It's going to change the realm. It's like, holy shit.
Mac Minis?
Like a MacBook, like a Mac Mini. It was like a desktop for the Mac.
Mini.
Like they're putting on they're automating like left and right, and then literally the next week, Anthropic Claude came out like, yeah, we're doing this and then some, and everyone's like, that company's dead. Like it's crazy. It's never been a point in my life where it's like the only thing I can relate to is like Mario came out in video games and this game came out, MLB 22K, right? Like that's what it almost feels like in related to like what's happening in the AI.
But what about the practicality of it? Is actually
the practicality
of it, or it's still the dream?
The practicality is there, and it's disrupting every business. And if it's not disrupting your business yet, it's because you're not using it correctly. And it's going to take time. Like, dude, you need to invest. You did 6-7 hours. You need to do 6-7 hours a week right now just to understand. The other thing, I sit on a board at Jefferson. I advised them my last meeting. I said, you need every architect in the school right now to be learning computer programming in at least a rudimentary fashion.
I thought you don't need computer programming now.
You need a base understanding of it. You don't need to know how to code.
Yeah, but
you need to know how the systems talk to each other. You need to understand API integrations. You need to understand, different integrations relating specifically even to AI platforms. That base understanding is going to be infiltrated in every single profession and career path within the next 12 to 24 months. You're not going to have a choice, because if you're not using it, you're going to be so behind. Like, dude, we're automating our proposal process to a level like I didn't think was possible. We're like, proposal follows up, emails back, call, like, dude, to a level.
All I hear is it's time for contract renegotiations.
People that don't pay me money, I'm building out plans. We're building out a system where like it's going to say, hey, here's your bill, here's the phone number, and it's going to call the phone number and connect me automatically to my entire people that owe me money. Like, imagine my AR person that's collecting the money doesn't have to go left and right. It literally scrapes our QuickBooks environment and our bill environment.
So that's where it's useful for the repetitive tasks where there isn't much. So this is the problem, because for me at least, because there's certain things I have to spend the time to figure out the repetitive tasks so they can help. It's where the things kind of go off script. That's where AI messes up a little bit, because it's still like it can pull from a database where then all of a sudden it'll pull the wrong info and then it'll make it seem.
Are you automating any of your like financial modeling yet for deals? Have you tried that? That would be interesting. I'd be curious. You should check that out. Like, you could take your deal, your underwriting, whatever you do, plug it in, give it surrounding parameters of the deals, have it analyze other deals in the area.
I don't really do financial modeling to that level. If you look at the way I send them, it's on a such plain level where I just basically, here's the cash flow, here's the cost, here's the projection. Obviously, if we're like people with higher finance background, they do like these beautiful models, and it's like, you look at it realistically, they're trying to sell a picture of something that doesn't actually. You can
even do it of current stuff, right? You screw the modeling. Hey, let me take all of my P&Ls of all my properties and overlay them, find efficiencies where ones are performing better than the other, pull that out. Like, and it'll work. It'll work at a 100%. High level CFO right now.
But this is so this is where it kind of field and executive parts kind of misalign, right? So like, you can pull it up with different companies, and I'm sure I could probably like, it is useful, but it is also time consuming to pull out hey, what's going on with these properties, what's going on, and you see it from there, and you put it on the field. But a lot of times on the field, things also change. Oh, why are the costs higher there? Well, someone decided to wash the floors by taking a bucket and just throwing the water on the floor. Vinyl is waterproof, so that means you can just drain the floor. So the whole building basically flooded, let's say, because over time she just would flood everything and then run the building. So then there'll be costs. There'll be additional costs involved. So yeah, obviously, using it to kind of look through and figure out the efficiencies. It's useful when you're not hands-on.
And now what's really interesting is you can connect the systems together, right? So QuickBooks is going to talk to, you could talk to your property management software, could talk to your leasing software.
Well, that would be
right?
very useful.
Well, that's already there.
If it tells you right away, but hey, this is off. Your costs are higher than normal.
I know who my most profitable clients are. I can run it in and analyze my P&Ls, my profits, my hours, my whole thing. And literally, it'll grab all information from the systems. And so you can use it to make good decisions about just business in general, right? Like it's unbelievable what it's doing, where a task like that could take hours.
Who would I go about to help set that up?
Well,
so that you can throw I would love an email like, hey, your framing is 13,000 higher than it's supposed to for a building this size.
Imagine. So you can do it at the base level in probably in GPT or Claude. If you're looking to build like a whole dashboard and like interface.
So you mean like I would have to like throw in those reports?
Yeah, you could throw in the docs. So in ChatGPT,
it's not like an active thing that just constantly.
It can be. That's if you code it out to actually pull it and scrape the data and run like an actual integration.
So basically, that's like kind of.
But you can do it as like the raw. Like, hey, here's all the data I have today.
Time.
It requires time. It just requires time. But once you get it set up, like you can automate it to find deals for you.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. Well, right now, I mean, the more pressing than I need to find a good PM, which I'm hopefully hiring who will be decent, but I'm hopefully PM to help manage so that I don't be taking as many calls as I currently am. And obviously getting the buildings all the builds that we have right now starting off the ground with getting the loans through, getting them off the grounds. Then with the time, hopefully get free, then I can focus on something like that. So that's definitely something interesting that I'm going to pick your brain on.
Let me know.
My AI expert.
I'm not an expert by any means.
More than me.
There's people out there that are doing mind-blowing things with it,
absolutely.
and it's interesting just to follow along. Eventually, the systems are going to get to a point where you just tell it what you want to create, and it's going to create it for you.
Yeah, but and then that's also where you need to also assess your strengths. Like, for instance, I don't have much experience on that level, so like I can try to figure it out, but it's going to be so much more time consuming, where if I just ask a few stupid questions like, hey Brian, where do I start, who do you know?
Well, even your show notes, because I know we briefly scheduled this, right? Like the show notes, I had it run it took 30 minutes and scraped the entire world about you and put together this host talking points. That's why I asked you to verify to make sure. Right. But it did that.
Most of it.
And usually I ask for the bio, right? We did this quick, but again, it does things that like I could have sat there, tried to develop it, make it, but like I literally took 2 phone calls while this bot was running in the background, scraping the world about who Roman is. And projects you've done. Like that's the speed up stuff that I think everyone needs to start playing with and tinkering with, because like, hey, I want to go I'm traveling. It'll even book travel plans for you.
Oh, it's so unbelievable for our travels, because we would use Concierge, and I feel like every time we do it with ourselves and just use ChatGPT, it ends up being, besides it's a lot cheaper, it ends up being a lot better, because then we we don't like the travel guide where they sit there and explain everything for hours, because we like quick. So it's like, tell us interesting, good, keep moving. The
only thing I found recently, so I was playing with it. I have some old baseball cards that my dad had that he collected. I'm like from the 90s. So what I'm doing is I'm like, he's got these big old packs that aren't open. So I'm trying to find like, Ken Griffey Jr., all the fun. I'm like, what cards are valuable and which ones are like some. So I said, I went to ChatGPT and I'm like, all right, here's the box. Here's the year, the Topps cards. Like, what are the most valuable ones? And it would tell me it did a scraping and what were the most valuable ones. But I did find that it was like, oh, card number 201, this person, like I go to card 201, I'm like, it ain't that person. But it was about 95% accurate over like most of the 90s baseball cards.
This is why you need to have someone. I mean, this is why the big companies spend billions of dollars on it, because you do have to have someone to kind of like reprocess it, because ChatGPT or all those AIs, they're very good, but they still put in their fog, which you think is correct, and you don't realize.
It made me sort through a whole box to find that card, only to realize it wasn't the person that told me that.
I had the same thing with Tyler. I bitched on my Tyler girl for charging all these fees, because then like I put it through ChatGPT and it told me like completely different fee rates, and I'm like, you're ripping me off. And then and next thing you know, she's like, well, this is the fees because this is. Cause I sent her to ChatGPT. I'm like, well, what they're claiming it to be, that's not what it actually is. So, there is a downside to AI when people blindly use it and think that, like, hey, I'm gonna Google it,
do it, ship it.
Ship it. So like, you definitely need to tinker with it.
Yep.
And for that, you need to have either the ability to spend the time to do it yourself or find someone that can help you with it. Yeah.
Yep. So what's next for you?
Goals for next year.
Your goals for next. So next year for you, for expansion, obviously AI, you bring on PM, but like, what's your long-term vision? Like, how many units do you want to get to? What's the impact? You want to just stay in Philly? Like, talk to me about, like, when I have you back on the show in 5 and 10 years from today, like, what's going to be different about your organization then?
Hopefully still in business. That's like number one goal, is to continue chugging along and being able to sustain the lifestyle that I'm blessed to have right now. Honestly, just do more projects, more excitement. Like, I always wanted to build, I always wanted to do a skyscraper, but obviously figuring out those costs is just like, it's so mind blowing.
There's one in the news, I think it's 140 million for the one they're doing on Delaware Ave. It was just a $150 million loan got secured, I think.
Yeah,
so that gives you
it's probably not
44 stories.
I was gonna say it's probably not even that big of a building. Or like that's honestly like really goals, like the king of the town centers.
Town centers, amazing.
I always found that to be just like.
Shout out to, we're working on the Exton Mall Town Center right now. It's 18 different uses in there going on. That's killer job.
Yeah, so hopefully with time, with opportunities, as long as like the projects keeps moving and like everything lines up correctly, just to do something a little bit more interesting, more challenging. Hey, maybe I'll get to meet someone that reaches out and is like, hey, I have a great opportunity in AI space. Let's do this. Or they, for whatever reason, they see
diversify investments.
I mean, so you never know what life is long.
Yep.
And you never know what opportunity presents. I'm always open. I just try to stick to my lane of what I know until I meet someone that possesses a skill set that is undeniable, where it's like, I trust him more than I trust me.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Like my partner and I, Eric. I trust him on the operation more than I do a phenomenal job at it.
Yeah, but he trust him just as much.
He's better.
Yeah.
Like, he has the strengths that he does some of these things even to a better level. So I'd rather have him do it. Same thing in the kitchen supply.
Yep.
My girl Echo, she's a shark. She'll kill to keep and work on it and work on it and work on it. That's not my passion. It's her passion.
Yep.
So if I find people that are passionate about something, I find someone that's passionate about property management. Hey, instead of managing my 500 units, work on them. Build a property management. I'll give you the company. I don't really care. I'll take a percentage. You run it. So the idea is, I want to hopefully in the next few years start lining myself up with more like-minded individuals that have extreme passion and dedication and razor focus.
Yeah, my motto's
Shout
always,
out if anyone. If
anyone's got an idea, you send it to Roman.
Send it to me. I'm always looking.
My motto's always been, I'd rather own half a watermelon than a whole grape. Right? It's like
100%.
It's crazy. Give me one last tidbit for the audience. One last maybe words of wisdom that stick with you every day, or something you think back to, like a piece of advice you've learned over the years, being able to go from, single family renovation project up to the hundreds of units, 500 units in the pipeline that you have today. Like, what's something that's stuck with you that you kind of live by? So it can't be get the best deal. It's got to be
just like don't be afraid of making the wrong decision and being too proud to make a decision. Yep. Or to be proud to do something. There's nothing wrong with cleaning the floors and working as a waiter or trash pickup or any job that pays the bills for now, because it helps you get to something. I mean, at worst, you're going to learn what you don't like. Yep. But there are going to be parts of that job that especially if you give it, you put in your effort, you don't have to necessarily do it. Give it your all if you know this doesn't go anywhere, but you give your all into something else as well. It will build your character and the toughness to work hard to be able to basically conquer whatever God and life throws at you. So if you do that and you figure out eventually what is your focus and passion, because you have to have passion. It's hard to do something repeatedly and keep failing at it, because most people fail in the beginning. It doesn't just start like
I feel like everyone fails. But
yeah, I mean, if we go into all the things I try to do, like I started 6 different businesses and like It was all a mess. But if you keep failing, but you're passionate and you're driven and you're hardworking, it'll push you through. Or not even failing, you're succeeding, but it's very small successes that are not to the level on Instagram where you see no one's going to become an instant millionaire as soon as they start their business or the first year. It's very rare. But if you have that passion, the drive, and the work commitment, it keeps you from losing focus. And that focus of just plugging at it every day, little by little, no matter how overwhelming it might be, every day gets slightly better. And eventually you're sitting at this table with Brian talking about your empire.
Telling me about the empire you built and from nothing, or I love that. Cool. Well, Roman, I can't thank you enough. I know the audience is going to love this episode. It's inspiring, your story. The fact that you haven't even, in my opinion, started yet is crazy. And I'm excited to keep watching you grow. Kind of be back on the show in some years from now, talk about what you were doing, now what you're doing. But yeah, thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure, especially once you give me the 5% rate cut.
5%, yeah, this show is sponsored by Ovrutsky. Omega Builders is sponsoring this show. I'm gonna reach out to Eric and see if I can get him to cover it.
It's been a pleasure.
So thanks, Roman.
Thank you.
Young John!